In this adventure, we explore part of the 550,000 acres that make up the Kofa National Wildlife Refuge. So sit back and enjoy.
This is testing my articulation.
After exiting the 10 freeway just past Quartzsite on Golden Nugget Road, I started heading south towards Kofa. My plan was to meet up with Brian and Chris, who had been out for a couple of days already near Dripping Springs. This was my first time visiting this area, and I didn't realize how vast and desolate it was. The trails appeared to be lightly traveled, and in a few places, they look like they're better geared towards side-by-sides. So if you're afraid of desert pinstriping, I would not suggest this trail. After a very narrow and challenging trail, I eventually met up with Brian and Chris and was impressed with the fact that Brian did that trail while pulling a trailer.
This is tight. Yow! That was a pretty tight turn, but went right on through there.
As I previously shared, Kofa is a wildlife refuge for bighorn sheep, and this is a giant cistern that they built out in the middle of the desert to provide them water.
Got a rain gauge right there. I don't know how often, if anybody checks it. So you can see they collect the water collects on this metal roofing, flows down there and into that cistern, and then over there where the animals can drink it out of that area. It's got a good 18 inches of water in there. So this is where the water flows to give the animals access. Pretty cool out here. I don't know what this is. Something here.
At this point, we're still on BLM land just outside the wildlife refuge.
It's like a claim marker to me.
Please let me know what you think these are. Kofa derives its name from the King of Arizona mine, which was a large gold mine in the area that was in production from about the 1890s to the 1910s. Of course, the camera never does it justice, but these trails were challenging, especially if you were crazy enough to tow a trailer.
That's crazy. All right, Ralph Henson. He had a pretty beautiful view there, minus the dust today. Again, which two of these things do not belong? Got another memorial up here at the top of this peak. Don't know quite what that says. Penny's over here. These little flowers.
After enjoying the view from the top of the mountain, we headed back down. It was getting late in the day and we needed to find a place to camp. Unfortunately, we came across several closed trails, but ultimately found a pretty beautiful sheltered spot.
Looks like this could be camp.
After getting camp set up and having dinner, we enjoyed some time watching the stars before we called it a night. As you can see, even though we were sheltered in this valley, it was still pretty windy. And after a quick cup of coffee and a breakfast sandwich, it was time to hit the trail again.
This trail is very tight. Oh boy.
Notice the branch I now have hanging off my roof rack. This trail was really not much of a trail, and it was clear not many people made it back here, and for good reason, but it was still pretty beautiful.
This is crazy. Can't believe we made it down this.
This is known as the Copper Kettle Mine, and as the name implies, they were looking for copper here. It was last worked in the 1940s by Joe Livingston, so it's also known as the Livingston Mine.
Just a little exploratory.
There's only a few short audits left that you can access. But this mill site looks like it was pretty extensive at one time, though there's not much left after 80 years.
This is pretty cool. Pretty cool foundation.
As we left the mine site, which is actually on BLM land, we entered the Kofa Wildlife Refuge. The refuge was established in 1939 after a campaign by Arizona Boy Scouts to try and protect the desert bighorn sheep in the area. Over 80% of the refuge is actually wilderness area, and the whole place is surrounded by the Yuma proving grounds. As we were exploring the area, we stumbled across another rainwater cistern. I believe these were built to supply water for the desert bighorn sheep as part of the wildlife refuge.
Oh wow. And it's got water.
Wonder what the
We next made our way to Scottw. I believe all these water sources are for the wildlife in the area. Because this is a refuge, I don't believe any cattle grazing or livestock is allowed in the area. We next made our way through New Water Pass to Kofa Cabin.
Can you open up the garage?
This cabin was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps in the 1930s. It's open to the public and you're welcome to stay inside. It's actually in pretty good condition with a wood-burning fireplace, a table, and a couple of bed platforms. After exploring the cabin, we decided to keep going and get a little closer to the highway as we had a long trek back home tomorrow. We left the refuge and made our way onto BLM land, which was being actively used for cattle grazing. For our last night, we found a place to camp at the base of the New Water Mountains. Kofa is incredible, and we barely just touched the surface on this trip. I'm looking forward to coming back and exploring some more. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll catch you the next time we venture outside.